Hey guys. It's taken me a few months to decide whether I wanted to post this video. A lot of it is because I'm going to have to be very vulnerable, and that is very difficult for me, but I thought I would post an update and explain to some of you, if you don't know, what has happened to me and why you probably have noticed that I have not been creating worship flag videos lately. So, on January 9th, I was at dance class in my advanced ballet class, and we had just finished bar. And my dance teacher was figuring out what across the floor combo she wanted to have us do. And she had put on some music, and it was very Irish sounding. So while we were waiting on her to figure it out, she had shown us a couple of steps she was thinking about doing. We were basically just doing what we love to do, and that's just to kind of fool around. Because it was Irish, I started doing some Irish movements. I used to be a competitive Irish dancer for 10 years, and so I was just kind of fooling around and doing an old slip jig, or it might have been a light jig, I can't remember the music, but just kind of going back to many years ago. And so I decided to do a jump, and physically I was doing an Irish jump, or at least that's what my body was getting ready to perform. In an Irish jump, you have your leg out in front and one leg kind of bent at the knee and behind you. It's very pretty. I've always loved the Irish jump. It's kind of a leap over. That's what some people call it. At the same time, mentally, my brain had switched to ballet and was getting ready. Well, mentally, I think I was switching to a seesaw. All I remember is I was in the air, physically doing one thing, mentally switching, and it was like time had just stood still or went very slow. And I remember thinking, this doesn't feel right. Something's not right. So I landed on my right foot, correctly actually, except everything kind of fell apart after that. My back leg, my left leg came in behind me, but instead of landing behind me like a seesaw, or kind of landing like a quick little seesaw in front, or like a big Irish leap where, you know, you're up and then it's just very dramatic. It just kind of landed behind me, but not really. My foot tripped on the back of my calf and I fell forward on my left, except I kept stumbling. So then I stumbled again and my right foot fell forward, and all I know is that my right foot rolled forward, and it rolled forward just kind of to the side. And I just kind of fell on the ground, and I sat there, and I think I was just in a lot of shock. Just not realizing, you know, what had happened. And I didn't want to, I don't know, my brain just kind of turned off. And I I may have gone into shock in some form because I remember thinking, oh, I'm okay, I'm okay. My teacher pulled me up to stand me up, and I put my foot down, my right foot, and I remember thinking, wow, this really hurts. I can't put weight. But again, I was just like, I'm okay. So she sat me down, they put an ice bag on my foot, and I literally watched the rest of my ballet class for an hour. But my brain had pretty much turned off. I could not really reason, and I knew I was hurt, but I kept telling myself it was just a sprained foot. Maybe I bruised a bone, but I'll be okay. So, but at the same time, I knew I wasn't okay. So it was the last class for the night, and I was trying to make a decision on whether I should drive. My right foot was hurting. I was afraid to put weight on it for the pedals. Some people were suggesting to drive home with my left foot. I don't know, guys. It was very strange. So finally, we just decided to call my husband to come get me, and we'll figure it out. So my husband came and got me, and by then all the urgent cares were shut down. There were no doctors. Basically all that was available was the emergency room, and for some reason I decided I could make it to the next day. I didn't want to spend $1,000 at the emergency room, and I'll be okay. It's just bruised. That's it. So it was probably the longest night ever for me. I started getting into a lot of pain. I could not sleep. I just kept trying to find weird, strange positions to make my foot comfortable. I may have gotten 1 hour of sleep. Seriously, it was a very, very rough, painful night. So the next morning we went straight to an urgent care, and I basically hopped in and they put me in a wheelchair and they took x-rays. And I remember the doctor coming in and she said, "You broke your 4th and 5th metatarsal on your right foot." And I just kind of broke out in tears. Because this was not a sprain, this was not a bruise, this was a major traumatic injury, and it had completely removed me from dance. It meant I could not participate in my dance classes anymore. It meant when I went to church I could not worship the Lord the way I express my love and adoration to Him. It just ripped me apart. So they sent me off to a orthopedic doctor. I ended up finding one pretty quickly. This was a Friday. I had gone to urgent care. Saturday I was at an orthopedic doctor. And they again took x-rays, and the doctor came in and she says, "Yep, you broke your 4th and 5th metatarsal." And she said, "You don't need surgery right now, but for the next 3 weeks. We're going to monitor your bones as long as they don't move. You should not need surgery. Hopefully your muscles and your tendons will keep your bones in place, and then they will just heal naturally. And then she said, you're looking at 12 weeks. And I remember thinking, 12 weeks? No. That's recital. Recital, that's April. That's hitting me into recital. I will be out of dance for 3 months. I won't be able to go to recital. I won't be able to worship in church. I won't be able to walk. I won't be able to drive. I mean, what am I supposed to? 12 weeks. And she said, well, you could surprise me, and it could be 8 weeks. But you're looking at 8 to 12 weeks. And I said, okay, 8 weeks. 8 weeks puts me in March. I will do whatever I have to do to help my healing progress quickly. I bought every calcium supplement I could find. I bought strange supplements that people swear would help bones. I bought arnica cream. I bought comfrey cream. I bought, I even bought this liquid called Dragon's Blood. I mean, it's a weird, strange name, but it was supposed to help move blood out of, traumatic blood that's clotted out of your foot. I kept it elevated. I even bought a $300 red light machine that was supposedly had a lot of research from like WebMD and everything showing that red light helped heal muscle and heal bones quickly. And hey, whatever I had to do. In all that time, I went back the next week for an x-ray. My bones looked good. And then the third week I went back because they said, hey, on the third week, if you're good to go, that's kind of the cutoff point on surgery. And if you make it to the third week, you're fine. So the third week, I went back to the orthopedic doctor, and they took another x-ray, and the doctor came in and he said, your fourth metatarsal has moved a couple of millimeters. You're going to need surgery. And that seemed more of a death sentence than even just having broken bones. And I remember going home and crying. I cried because I was absolutely frightened. I have never had surgery. I have never been under anesthesia for anything, not even my wisdom teeth. When they were taken out, it was the laughing gas and a couple of pills that were supposed to kind of mostly put me out, but I've never had injury or had a surgery, nor have I ever had broken bones, and I break too. And I cried because I was so frightened. And guys, I gotta hand it to you. I have the best husband on the face of this planet. This man has gone out of his way to show me how much he loves me. He had to dress me because I couldn't reach my clothes in the closet. He had to bring me to work. And guys, he works at night. He works 12-hour shifts. Think 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And he would have to waste an hour, half an hour to take me to work, not including the time to just get me up out of bed, put me in the shower because I could not get in the shower by myself. He had to get me out of the shower, help dress me, take me to work, and then drive back home, try to get as much sleep as he could before he had to get back up, half an hour to come get me and a half an hour to come back, fix me supper, and by the way, it took me completely out of helping with flags, and he now had to do the entire flag business by himself. So I went to the surgeon's office, and I just remember sitting in the waiting room thinking, okay, I'm scared, but I'm going to do this. I was having this just stiff upper lip, chin, whatever you want to call it, and I just remember thinking, in 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to be very happy I did this. I'm really scared, but it'll be over with, and we can do this. I can do this. My husband and I prayed the night before, and just pray to the Lord that His will be done in all of this, and to give me comfort through the surgery. But honestly, if it can be changed, no surgery. So I go back in to the surgeon's, to the room, and wait on my surgeon, and he's looking at x-rays, and he comes in, and I don't even know what he said to me. He was so general and generic, and I'm sitting there with my foot out of the boot, scared half to death, because my foot is so vulnerable, and I'm so, like, just kind of cradling it, and I don't like it out of the boot. The boot just, it just made it feel protected. I felt like things were going to fall on it, and I was going to re-break it. And I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about, and finally I just say, so, do I not need surgery? And guys, I'm never going to forget his words. He said, no, you don't need surgery. You don't want pins in your feet. And I had the biggest relief ever. the biggest relief. So, you know, he's been one of the best surgeons I found out in Texas for foot and ankle. And I was so fortunate to have a surgeon that, you know, if he had to do surgery, he would have done an excellent job, but also was not money hungry, and instead is very conservative, and just realized that my healing time wasn't going to change. And he basically said, yes, it's moved a couple of millimeters, but it's not going to change your healing time, and it's really not going to change your flexibility. There's going to be a little nobule on where it's not going to be quite straight, but he kind of told me it's really just, other than that, it's not going to affect it all that much. So it's been a really rough couple of months. Actually, I'm now going into, you know, almost 12 weeks now. I don't care, for those who have never broken a bone, I'm going to tell you something. I had a lot of people tell me that is better than hurting a muscle. I've sprained my left ankle twice. No. Breaking a bone hurts. I had many nights in the beginning, I would have these strange muscle spasms that nobody told me this happened. I found out it was quite normal. And my foot would twitch. I would not move it, it just would twitch, the entire foot. Oh, it hurt. And it would always happen when I would relax and almost fall asleep. And it would jerk me awake. And I started becoming afraid of sleeping. I used to have the room completely quiet. I actually started turning on the TV and listening to TV shows. And then I would, like, move my left foot back and forth, literally just trying to keep myself awake until I would fall asleep just out of pure exhaustion, because if I relaxed even a little bit, my foot would jerk, and it is the worst pain. So I had weeks of that, and I would ice my foot at night, had it completely elevated, just doing everything I could to, one, stay awake, and two, just try to minimize the pain. And I cannot take most pain meds, like hydrocodone. A lot of the opiates I just cannot take. They make me very sick. So with that, I took lesser pain meds like Tramadol, but they really didn't help much. And there were nights I woke up in so much pain, all I could do was cry. And just cry, just absolutely cry. And I cried because I was in so much pain, and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't rub it because that would make it hurt worse. There was no pain meds that would really just take the pain away. Now I'm awake, I've barely been sleeping anyways, and it was just awful. And my poor husband, all he could do was just hold me. So it's been a really rough few months. I I could have done teaching videos, but I had to grieve a lot. I am not going to be able to do recital at all. I kept giving myself that focus and that vision to work hard, but after 8 weeks, there's been no bony growth. And I don't even know if recital is going to happen with the coronavirus going on right now, but even if it does, I will not be a part of it. I had to grieve just losing something that's been a part of me for so long. The way I expressed myself, I felt muted. I am in physical therapy now. I am starting to kind of hobble on a cane, and one of the healing processes of this whole thing is just mentally being pushed and just becoming worn out of the situation, of not being able to drive, of not being able to walk, of not being able to dance. And then you go to physical therapy where you are being asked to move a foot that has been immobilized for 8 weeks. My right foot was always my good foot. It was the most flexible. It was the strongest. I was actually quite disproportionate in point in that my right foot held me up. My left foot was way weaker from the 2 ankle sprains I had received, one as a kid and one when I landed a scissor jump in Irish dancing, and I rolled on it. So because of all that, it's been my weaker ankle, and now my right ankle cannot hold me up. I cannot even balance on it on one foot, much less going into releve. And it's been a very slow process. My physical therapist told me she was not going to baby me, and she has meant it. I'm in a great physical therapy clinic. They work with the Texas Ballet Theater professional dancers. In fact, one of the times I was there, one of their company dancers was there working on, whatever she looked like, maybe a leg or a foot. So I'm glad to be with them because they understand my needs, but my physical therapist pushes me extremely hard. And there's been a couple of moments where I've just cried. It's been really rough. So that's where I'm at. If you all are interested, I will be happy to show you some of my progression in what I'm doing in physical therapy. I'm not allowed to bring the camera into the actual clinic because of HIPAA regulations, but I can show you what I do at home. I try to repeat a lot of what I do at physical therapy home. So if y'all are interested, please comment and I will show you some of the stuff that I've been doing and how I'm walking. But that's where I'm at right now. It's been a really tough road for me. I do have hope. I'm really praying that the Lord will continue to heal my foot and there will be bony growth the next x-rays I have. And hopefully I can start dance again by June, which is when summer classes start. And most of all, I want to start worshiping Him again. I listen to music and I'll move my arms and dance does not just have to be through the legs, though. Dance has a vocabulary, and my vocabulary is ballet. I speak ballet. I speak Irish dancing, but I speak ballet. And I want to get back to that as soon as I possibly can. And right now, these past few months, instead of dancing around His throne room, I've had to just sit in Daddy's lap, which has been great. It's been great. It's not that I have not enjoyed the change of communion between the two of us, but there's just I was created to dance, and it was just a lost part of me. It's just a lost part that I've had to grieve and try to let go. And my dance family has been just wonderful to me. I love my dance family. They've sent me letters and just checked on me. Couldn't ask for anything better. But anyways, that's where I'm at, and just wanted to let you all know what's happening with me.